September 1942, the South Atlantic hides more than water. Somewhere beneath it a German U-boat waits. Above the waves, over 2,000 souls sail on unaware. Her captain has survived one sinking already. Below deck, nearly 2,000 Italian prisoners sit in the dark. Two ships, two nations at war one night in September. Corvette and Captain Werner Hartenstein gives the order to attack. A torpedo leaves its tube. There is no turning back. At 22:07, the Laconia is struck. What happens next will become one of the war's most haunting moral tests. To understand this night, we must go back 6 weeks. Rommel's army is in retreat. Thousands of Italian soldiers surrender. They are shipped south, destined for camps in Britain. Alongside them, British soldiers, Polish guards, and dozens of civilian families. On board 732 souls, bound for England, bound for history, her route north along the bulge of West Africa. One escorted, the Royal Navy has no destroyers to spare. Every escort is needed elsewhere. Meanwhile, a hunter moves through the deep. Corvette and Captain Werner Hartenstein, 34 years old, on his 4th patrol. His boat a type IXC, armed, fast, and far from home. By September 12th, Hunter and hunted share the same patch of ocean. Aboard the Laconia, the evening is calm. Dinner is being served at dusk.
It certainly is. The dinner has been delightful.
Hartenstein sights smoke on the horizon. He waits for nightfall, a careful, disciplined approach.
Understood, 340.
2,700 lives, one submarine closing in. The countdown has begun. Hartenstein studies the silhouette. Troop ship. No escort visible, he gives the order. Battle stations, tubes 1 and 2 flooded and ready. Aboard the Laconia, passengers gather on deck for evening air. First torpedo is away. It strikes amidships. The Laconia shudders. Below deck, lights flicker. Metal groans. Deep in the hold, the Italian prisoners are trapped behind locked grates. 250 nautical miles from the nearest land, Ascension Island. On deck, crew scramble to lower lifeboats. Some jam, some capsize. Her captain, a survivor of an earlier sinking, gives the order to abandon ship.
Get off the ship! Do you hear me? Evacuate now!
Beneath the surface, the submarine watches its target die. Hundreds are already in the water. Clinging to wreckage, the Laconia begins her final list.
Is anyone out there?
Her wireless operator taps out the distress call SSS, submarine attack, 2,000 people, one sinking ship, a darkening ocean U-boat. A report comes in, survivors in the water are shouting in Italian.
It is confirmed, sir. Civilian vessel.
At 23s and 23, the Laconia slips beneath the waves. Now, over 2,000 people float in the dark, and the man who sank them must decide what happens next. Hartenstein pulls a survivor from the water. The man is shouting in Italian.
Klaus, it's me. Thank God.
An ally, not the enemy he expected. More voices call out from the dark, women. Children, soldiers of every flag. Hartenstein makes a decision that will divide history. He radios headquarters. At U-boat headquarters in France, the message arrives. The order comes back, render all possible assistance.
Stellen Sie sicher, dass die Nachricht alle Kommandanten erreicht.
Jawohl, Herr Kommandant.
3 more U-boats are ordered to the scene. Even Italy F6 deck, a Red Cross flag is raised. A submarine turned into a hospital ship. By dawn, over 200 survivors crowd a boat built for 50. 4 lifeboats are lashed behind the submarine, towed toward the African coast. A rendezvous is arranged with Vichy French ships sailing under a fragile truce. For 2 days, an act of mercy unfolds in the middle of a war. It will not last. 4 submarines now share one mission, not to kill but to save. Fresh water, bread, and blankets are passed hand to hand. Behind the submarines, a chain of lifeboats stretches for half a mile. A submarine's medic tends wounds never meant for a warship's deck. A second night falls. Still they hold course for the African coast.
Maintain formation. Watch the ropes. Make sure they hold.
Word reaches Vichy French warships at Dakar and the Ivory Coast prepare to receive survivors. On the horizon, smoke, French colors. Rescue at last seems within reach. Hartenstein watches through his binoculars. Relief and something more complicated. One by one, survivors climb from the submarine to the French deck.
Thank you so much. Over here, we'll get you warm. Watch your step. The bridge is stable.
A French officer and a German commander exchange a formal salute. Enemies briefly united. By the second afternoon, hundreds have been saved. For 36 hours, 4 submarines have done something no war plan accounted for. But far above, in the clear afternoon sky, something is approaching, a speck, growing larger, an aircraft far from any friendly base. 4 engines, American markings, a B-24 Liberator. Hartenstein orders the Red Cross flag raised higher. Surely they will see it. The bomber circles once. Low, close enough to see everything. On the lifeboats, survivors wave and cheer. Rescue, they believe, has finally come. Inside the cockpit, the pilot radios his base. The reply will change everything. The order comes back, and the bomber turns. Below, no one yet understands. The mercy of the last 2 days is about to be answered with fire. The Liberator descends, bomb bay doors open. On the submarine, someone finally understands. The flag means nothing to this pilot. The first bombs fall. One strikes a lifeboat directly. It is gone in an instant. Survivors scramble for cover that does not exist. A second bomb explodes underwater just beneath the control room. Hartenstein has seconds to choose save the survivors or save his boat. The crew has no choice. Survivors are pushed back into the sea. The tow lines are cut. The lifeboats are set adrift.
Crash dive, crash dive, crash dive.
Clacks and scream. U-156 crash dives.
Main ballast vents, full negative.
Where 4 submarines once stood, only wreckage and scattered swimmers remain.
Is anyone there?
Below the surface, the crew checks for damage. The hull has held barely. The bomber, its mission complete, turns for home. Those still alive cling to broken planks alone on an empty ocean. News of the attack reaches Berlin within hours.
No.
Naval Command is furious. Mercy, they conclude, is a liability. A new order is drafted. Never again will a U-boat crew stop to save the enemy. On the ocean, the survivors drift on, not yet knowing that policy has already changed. An act of mercy has ended in fire. What follows will echo through the rest of the war. Over the following days, French ships comb the wreckage site, pulling survivors from the water.
Pull hard. Get him closer. I've got him. Keep pulling.
Of 732 aboard, more than 400 are dead, most of them Italian prisoners of war. The survivors who reach shore are interned once more, prisoners who nearly died twice. On September 17th, the order is finalized, the Laconia Order. From now on, U-boat crews are forbidden from rescuing survivors of any kind.
Prepare for deployment. Dismissed.
U-156 returns to war. 6 months later, she will not return home. On March 8, 1943, she is sunk with all hands near the same ocean she once showed mercy to. After the war, the Laconia Order becomes evidence at Nuremberg. The commander who tried to save his enemies is remembered as neither villain nor hero, but as a man caught between war and conscience. Some survivors live long enough to tell their story. Most take it to their graves in silence. Today, the wreck of the Laconia lies over 3 miles down, undisturbed. The ocean above shows no trace of what happened here. Only names on memorials remain, a reminder that even in war, mercy was once possible. The Laconia incident. A single night when the line between enemy and human blurred, and the world chose not to remember it kindly.